to our fifth and final main topic today. And our fifth and final main topic today is this. So, Lucas, it's kind of been a lot of buzz going around with Wakanda Forever's release about how a lot of fans, it's leaving a lot of MCU fans divided, I feel. There's a lot of people like me, and maybe even you, that enjoyed their time at the movie theater, but didn't think it was that great of a movie. I said it before, and I say it again, that I think that without Chadwick Boseman actually passing away, this movie probably wouldn't be a good movie, or I wouldn't have enjoyed myself. And proof positive of that is, like I asked you, Lucas, when I asked you if Chadwick Boseman had asked for more money and they said no and told him to fuck off and he walked away, and they made this same exact movie that we just seen. However, Chadwick Boseman's sitting in the theater watching it with us, would we enjoy this movie as much? And I think the clear answer to that is no. Definitely not. We as fans would have been like, dude, pay him or recast or da-da-da. And look, I totally get everybody's point of view. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that grew up, especially young black men who grew up with T'Challa as their hero, as their Black Panther, and they read these comics and they spent time and they had the posters and I totally understand that for you guys, it really probably sucked to see your favorite character kind of just killed off screen. There it is. It happened. I totally understand that to an extent. My point, and I said it on the show yesterday, is that you can't keep life out of art. And the fact of the matter is, he did die from a disease. That's actually what happened to Chadwick Boseman, at least, right? So it kind of made it surreal that they did that. I said this 3 or 4 years ago when they decided not to cast, and people were like, what should they do? What should they do? I said, you know what? They should say he died. And people are like, but what killed him? What killed him?
A mysterious disease.
Cancer.
Or a hidden, yeah, right.
A disease. What killed Chadwick Boseman? I mean, because, again, he brought so much to the character T'Challa. You can love the character T'Challa, and you can grow up with the character T'Challa and all that, and your relationship may be completely different because of that. But the truth is that 90% of the planet that has a relationship with T'Challa is because of Chadwick Boseman's performance in the freaking Black Panther movie as T'Challa. Without that, most of us wouldn't even know the name T'Challa or any of the shit that's going on in Wakanda or with any of that stuff, right? So we kind of have to associate T'Challa and Black Panther with Chadwick Boseman. It's hard not to. So again, my thoughts on it are, I totally understand that it does feel like that they didn't quite do the character justice. I totally understand that, but they were trying to have their cake and eat it too, and that's what that last scene was about, right? And that's why we all hate this the most, is because that last scene was just fucking annoying and stupid. Because you killed T'Challa, and then you're like, but here's T'Challa. And you're just splitting hairs now. You're doing the thing like with Gamora. Well, Gamora's dead. Well, but this Gamora's alive. But it ain't our Gamora. Well, Loki's dead. Well, Loki's alive. But it ain't our Loki. And it's getting old. And I don't want to be splitting hairs with all these characters constantly. And listen, there's a lot of things in this movie that don't make sense and that are plot holes and all that. Listen, this movie year for Marvel has just been god awful, in my opinion. It's been the worst year for Marvel since I've started watching these movies, period, end of story. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I started watching these films in 2017, and that's when Thor Ragnarok came out. Then, we rolled right into Infinity War in 2018, and then Endgame in 2019.
Black Panther 1, too, even.
Right. We had lots of really good stuff. Black Panther 1 is, I say it all the time, probably the greatest standalone film of the MCU, because it's just not MCU. It's so not MCU. And Yeah, but anyway, like I said, I totally understand people that have a real deep connection with the character T'Challa, being upset with the way that they just kind of kill him off screen. We could get into like so many things, you know, how come the heart-shaped herb didn't keep him from dying, and then if it wasn't keeping him from dying, then why the fuck was Shuri trying to make a new one in the beginning to help him? How was it going to help him to eat more heart-shaped herb if the current heart-shaped herb he had inside of him wasn't fighting off the disease? I could go on and on about this movie, like I said, but overall, I actually enjoyed it, and I thought, what's his name, Namor, I thought really brought a lot to the story, and I thought the Angela Bassett's performance was Academy level, and that kept me into it for the majority of the film. And then when she went away, Letitia Wright's performance carried the movie, and I felt a lot of that grief in her character. Again, yeah, it may be weird that as soon as she takes the heart-shaped herb, she's now a black belt in all mixed martial arts. Yeah, that's weird. Again, lots of plot holes all over this movie, and that's not what I want to talk about. But what I want to talk about is it leaving fans divided. And like I was telling you, Lucas, there's also another way that it's leaving fans divided, right? And that's the fans almost like me, I would even say, that are just kind of getting to the point where I'm just like, you know, it was all right. That's kind of how I felt all of Phase 4. Literally all of Phase 4. Even though Spider-Man No Way Home, I really enjoyed because of the nostalgia of it. Overall, it wasn't the greatest movie. It's not a top 10 Marvel film. Nothing that came out this year is a top 10 Marvel film. In fact, some of the films that came out are bottom 10 Marvel films. I would say Thor Love and Thunder is a bottom 10 Marvel film. I would say Eternals is a bottom 10 Marvel film. A lot of these Phase 4 films just haven't been great, man. I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And Black Panther 2 was just another example of that. And that being said, so even for someone like me who enjoyed what they did, it's kind of just like, man, is this coming to an end? Am I getting comic book fatigue? Am I just tired of these same repetitive MCU heavy plot driven stories? Because the truth is, they all kind of start feeling, as it's sad to say, formulaic, and they feel like there's a lot of boxes being checked as we go forward with these movies. And it feels like we haven't had really that original kind of movie like we did with Black Panther, right, in a while, since like then. But yeah, so then you got the fans like I said, almost like me, that are divided in the sense that even though they didn't hate this movie, overall, now that this ends Phase 4, we're looking at this whole thing going, man, do we really want to continue dedicating our time and spending all this time on a channel talking about it and going to these movies and all that if they're going to keep, you know, declining in how good they are? And I think the answer to that is obviously no. But yeah, Lucas, I'll let you touch a little bit on this. I know you know some of the stuff I do, and you hear that fans out there, like I said, are a bit divided on the whole idea that you know, I heard a lot of people say stuff like Disney or Ryan Coogler or whoever was just capitalizing on Chadwick Boseman's death. And that to me is such an ignorant and arrogant statement to make. It's ignorant if you believe really. That. Yeah. Then like I told you, Lucas, then you believe the Titanic shouldn't have been made, right? And if it
Schindler's
did,
List,
and since it's Schindler's List, sure, but whoever made that was just making it to capitalize on all those Jews' death. That's the reason they made Schindler's List. Does that sound real to you? That's fucking asinine. That's stupid. They didn't make it to capitalize on 6 million Jews' death. They made it because it is art and life is art, and that's what happened. And it sucks sometimes, and I'm sure if you were a Jew in a camp that had to experience those things, watching that movie may trigger things for you and these things. And my advice to you would be this: don't go to the fucking movie. If you are an ex confinement camp person and there's a movie about Jewish confinement camps, it's probably safe to say you shouldn't go to it. It is what it is. But don't be mad when the movie delivers and the movie's like, oh, well, it's about exactly what I went through. Well, what the fuck did you want it to be about, dumbass? You wanted it to be about what? I don't understand this. Again, life is art, and you can't keep life out of art. You just can't do it. And those of you that think that Jeffrey Dahmer series shouldn't have been made are just as stupid and ignorant. Again, these things happen. We can't just keep them away and hide them away and worry about every single person's feelings whenever we make a freaking movie. That's so annoying. We cannot take in consideration how you, me, some jackass on YouTube's feelings are. My feelings don't fucking matter. At the end of the day, who knew Ryan Coogler or who knew Chadwick Boseman better than me and Lucas and everyone on YouTube is Ryan Coogler, Letitia Wright, and all these people that were actually around him and enjoying actual time with him. And if anyone has the chance to say what would honor him or wouldn't honor him, I would assume to say they have a lot more say than some jackass on YouTube. And that includes and not limited to myself. But that being said, I've ranted long enough. Lucas, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you, because we obviously were talking about this last night and prior to, but I kind of really just formulated into words based off what you were saying. Man, you know, if you were, we'll take the Schindler's List example that you were talking about. If you were a Jew, you know, a Jewish person that was in one of the camps, unless you've gone through a lot of therapy and you've come to terms with it.
Good for you if you have.
Absolutely. And that's what you want. And that's what I'm getting to, though, is that if this movie is going to be triggering for you, maybe avoid it until you can deal with those triggers. But that being said, I think that's the point of movies like this, right? Is so that, because it puts you at a detached
movies
distance.
Are meant to make you feel.
But it draws you in, right? It's cathartic. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
So absolutely, man. I mean, I wasn't a Jewish person who, you know, was enslaved in concentration camps and whatnot, but I can watch Schindler's List and bawl my eyes out and feel the pain of those people. I'll never have actually experienced that, but this is the closest I will get to it. And you know, now that you have a better understanding of those people.
That's right. So one day, if you were to actually meet an actual Holocaust survivor, you have a lot, just for literally watching Schindler's List, you have a lot more understanding of this person.
Right.
And that is, that's what the movie's job was for. That was what it was meant to do.
Show the story.
The same thing with Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was grief, right? We all deal with that. And it all comes on different levels. You know, you had the mom dealing with the loss of her son and the loss of her husband, right? And then her daughter's abducted. That grief is in itself something. But then you have the daughter who's lost her brother, lost her father, and now lost her mother.
Right.
I mean, there's just so much to it. Listen, guys, if you don't think that shit doesn't happen, it does. It does happen. And more importantly, with the Chadwick Boseman situation, it did happen. He did die of a mysterious disease. I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know what the hell cancer is. We don't know how to fix it. And that's the way it is and the way it always will be as far as I'm concerned in my lifetime, at least. I hope that there's a cure or an understanding of cancer in the coming years, but it's just not, it doesn't seem so. And again, I would just say, if the heart-shaped herb can't heal it, then probably humanity can't either.
Right. No, I mean, you know, we can get into a whole discussion about whether or not the pharmaceutical companies already have cures for cancer and they're just withholding all that. I think the reason it's mysterious more so, though, for Chadwick Boseman and his circumstances, that, I mean, he was diagnosed in 2016. Nobody heard a word about it until he had passed away, pretty much. I mean, maybe very, like Kevin Feige might have known. Outside of that, I don't know how much more.
Listen, how long have I been saying that this movie is going to be Chadwick Boseman's funeral?
Oh yeah, memorial, awake. I mean,
we've all known that collectively,
it's a celebration of
we
his
were
life.
going right, while also mourning.
Well, yeah, that's
the
a
death
funeral.
of
awake.
Exactly, and we knew that. The trailers told us that.
Yeah.
Everything about the movie led us to believe you're in for this shit. You know what to expect.
But that's what I love about it is because it is, yes, but not only is everybody in the audience grieving, so are the actors, man. And it's
and I
such
think
a beautiful way.
Part.
Right, you are not alone. You are not alone, and
sure.
that's what. Man, I don't care how bad these Marvel movies get if they continue. Whatever, I'm gonna keep watching them as long as they don't sell out totally. But the thing I'm getting to is that's the beauty of movies, man. It's community. It draws people together. Yep. It helps us grow together, laugh, cry, ball together.
Yeah, like I said, movies are meant to make you feel. And if you can't handle how a movie's going to make you feel, don't go see it.
Yeah.
Don't go see it. It's just that fucking simple,
Well,
man.
Especially if you know going into it that you were going to feel that way, maybe
sure.
don't.
Like if you're Chadwick Boseman's brother and you're like, man, I ain't even got, if people can't even say a C word and I literally start, I have a panic attack. Don't fucking go see the movie, Chadwick Brothers' brother. Wait it out. You can see it in 4 years after you've handled this shit, or whatever. Maybe you never see it at all. Guess what, guys? I've never seen Requiem for a Dream. I've started it 132 times, but I get through about 6 minutes of it and realize, this is not fucking for me. This is not how Key wants to feel today. And that's just as simple as I see it. If that's how you feel, get up and walk the fuck away, man. Don't get on YouTube and bitch about shit. I don't want my channel and our channel and the things we talk about to be the things that we hate. We want to talk about the things that we love. And when things aren't good, if Black Panther Wakanda Forever, if I absolutely hated it, we wouldn't have did a spoiler discussion on it. I wouldn't have done those things because I just didn't enjoy it. I'm not going to talk about, because at the end of the day, if I don't like something, all I'm going to have to say about it are bad things. And if I have 6 fucking people in my room and we're all saying those bad things about it, how is this diverse? How is this bring, any kind of, it's just, I think that, like I said, my thoughts are on it. If you can't handle the way a movie is going to make you feel, then just don't go see the movie, man. And if it starts and you're in the movie and you didn't expect it, just get your fucking dumb ass up and walk out of the movie. Yeah. It's not that hard. It really, how many movies have you seen me walk out of?
Oh, enough.
There you go.
No, but I was going to say, even like, I know what you're talking about with those. We won't even screw those guys. Sure. But that being said, if you didn't like Black Panther, I feel very much so that we still would have done an open spoiler, because even if you hate something, I mean, it's rare where I've seen you like absolutely hate a movie or something like that. And even then, like, we can we'll still have respectful.
But like the Suicide Squad is a perfect example. I would not have done an open. All you would have heard me do is shit on that movie. Right. And I don't ever want to come on my channel and just shit on something. Like, if I don't like it, I just don't want to talk about it. Or I want to just tell you, hey, I didn't like it. It wasn't for me. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Right. And that's the other thing, is it's always okay for us to have different opinions of each other. Lucas could hate the movie. I could love the movie, and that's okay.
It'd make for a very good spoiler discussion.
Right. But not everyone has to agree with our opinions on everything about how films are. And I think when we all
don't.
Right. Yeah. We don't do this show and have these opinions for you guys to come in here and have fucking how many ever people in the live chat just all agreeing with every single thing we say. That's not what we want to say. Jesse Bailey was just in the chat earlier talking about Freaky Fridays played out. That's what he said. You heard me say, hey, I think we should get more Freaky Friday. Concept, he said it's a tired concept.
Body switch.
Right. Okay. And guess what? I don't hate you. I don't hate Jesse Bailey now because of it. I'm not going to tell Jesse Bailey, get the fuck out of my chat because you don't agree with me. So the thing is we can have differing opinions and still be movie loving brothers and sisters. And that's why I start every show with, how you doing, my movie loving brothers and sisters? Because that's at the end of the day, that's what we all are. We're all just movie lovers here to talk about it. Sometimes I'm going to like shit that you guys won't. Sometimes you guys are going to like shit that I don't. But all we can do is be authentic to the people we are, right? And at the end of the day, I think, again, if you're going to be a crybaby and you're going to be, oh, this movie's hurting my feelings or it's making me feel and I don't want to feel, then just don't watch the damn movie. That's how I feel about it. Lucas, you got anything else to say?
No, I totally agree with you. And I think the thing that with those with that other channel you're talking about, is that's their channel. You know, from what I
that's
just
most
assume
channels on YouTube. Like, you know, just like me and my wife are talking about, is it's easier to get clicks with hate stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to get to.
It always is.
Man,
it's the easy. It's like the dark side, right?
That.
It's just like the dark side.
Yes, and
it,
you know,
it seems quicker and faster, but at the end of the
more
day,
poignant,
it's not fulfilling. It's the dark side.
Well, it's what it's like Yoda. It's like Yoda says, man. He says that, you know, you don't become a Jedi and then you're never tempted by the dark side again. It is a constant choice for good, you know, to choose the path of the light instead of the dark. And you know what, you guys, if you want to hate on your movies on YouTube and whatever, good for you. I pity you. Right. But whatever.
But the thing is, you know, it takes as a Jedi, it takes years of training to get anywhere.
A lifetime.
Where with the dark side, it just takes one commitment. Like one, just you being there immediately overflows you with abundance of power. Because again, it's the quick, easy route, right? But it also isn't
corrupts you internally,
right? And it gives you the quick, easy stuff now, but over time, it's not as great, right? It's not as powerful. It's not as good. It's not as all these other things. And that's why, like I said, here on the Screen Talk Live YouTube channel, I want to talk about things we love and specifically things we enjoy as movie fans, right? And but with that being said, guys, go ahead.
I just had like two last thoughts.
Go ahead.
Even just lost the other one. Well, one. That overall, I'll agree with you that like Phase 4, out of the 4, has been the most disappointing of Marvel. I think this was easily still. I'll stand by what we said, you know, post show or post movie, that this is one of the better ones of Phase 4 for sure. But I'm kind of just now recognizing too that. With this movie, in addition, you know, as the final like chapter of Phase 4, Phase 4 has been about grief. Truly, I mean, look at like WandaVision.
It started with WandaVision, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And even Thor: Love and Thunder, for all is whatever. Yeah. You got this. You've got Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yep.
I mean, Doctor Strange is one. You know.
Yep, for sure.
And obviously everything following Endgame, it has been a lot about grief, and it's kind of been heavy. There's been a lot of they've tried a lot of things. Which has led to a lot of missteps. But, you know, I still, at least as of now, there hasn't been. I mean, Hawkeye was the only one where I was like, okay, not that great.
Right.
But other than that, they've all been, it's still been good enough to where I'm going to keep watching it. At least probably through Phase 6. I know that takes us up to like 2026, but I like to finish a story. And you know, if it ends up being terrible, like King Dynasty and Secret Wars, maybe I'll put it down after that. But I doubt it. I mean, they're enjoyable. I love it. Is formulaic, but it's the hero's journey too. And I'll continue to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right. I mean, to me, one of the greatest lines in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Vision right before he doesn't exist anymore while never existing, says to Wanda, what is grief if not love persevering?
You can just tear up right now.
I mean, come on. I mean, come on. I mean, that's so true. And that is exactly, that means even after we're gone, even after he's gone, we still love Chadwick Boseman.
We do.
And our grief is a fucking proof of that. It's fucking fact that we love him. And I think that should mean so much more to us than some silly movie or some silly character or how much you loved a comic book character. All of that shit. I think that our love and the grief we feel for Chadwick Boseman should mean a lot more to us, you know. Also, something else he says that really, you know, is my favorite thing, which is right before he like starts to like turn into dust and fade away. He looks at Wanda and she says something like, "Are you scared?" or whatever, and he's like, "Shit, what do you mean? I just had a family. I was an Avenger once. Who knows what I'll be next."
Oh, you're talking about, yeah.
And then he just fades away.
And it's so true,
And that's
man.
so true, right?
Yeah.
Is that at the end of the day, he was just happy to have what he had. And that's how we all should feel. We all should be more grateful for the things that we have in our lives.
Well, and that's what I was about to say too, is that maybe that's the problem that's why there's so many people like those guys on that channel. So many people that, God, they just love, they can't help but hate. They can't, and maybe it's because we are not emotionally mature enough as people. Like, I think some of us more so than others, but sometimes, a majority of times, it seems that people don't totally know how to deal with, grieve with their emotions.
Yeah, that's a lot of
grief.
it too, right?
It is.
They don't know how to handle their own feelings.
And they strike out and
just want to not feel it.
Fuck this
Get it out.
movie.
How dare you make me feel this
How
way?
dare you make me feel this way? No, and I get it, man, dude. We all feel it. We are all human. We all
get it. Yeah, you wanted to cry and you hated what? You felt that way.
But
we felt the same way, bro.
maybe shut your mouth every once in a while. Sometimes I'm not trying to be insulting or rude, but you guys are missing the point. I think with a movie like this and the response to it, it just is maddening to me because it really, I think the best part of the movie is and is the ability of its characters to cope with grief. And for you as an audience, if you're sitting there, you're wrapped in it, it's cathartic.
Yeah.
You are Shuri at the end on the beach, burning your funeral clothes.
Right.
And letting Chadwick Boseman memory be with you forever, but letting all the rest go. And man, that's just what I want for all people in the world, is to be able to be honest with themselves and open. But part of that is being open to being loving and being open to being hurt. And like you said, what is grief if not love persevering? And,
sure.
And, I think that's what it's about at the end of the day. So, pedestal, soapbox off, whatever.
For sure. But yeah, guys, let us know how you guys feel about all this. Like I said, I know that most of you guys have seen Wakanda Forever at this point, and let us know. Did you like it? Did you love it? Is it making you feel divided? Do you feel like you don't want to watch MCU movies? Definitely let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below.